Well, well. Welcome to the Semicombatant video. Today I will be going over the two main most powerful Semicombatant builds. And, well, first off, I want to give some honorable mentions. Main honorable mention is the Axe main and the Spear main. So, Axe main. The material cost on the axe, it's just about the same as other one-handed weapons. It's a little meh compared to like sword and so on. That is if you aren't leveling up axes for battle axes, which are not bad. They certainly shine in certain areas, but the axes, one-handed axes, it's basically this thing, like if you are mainly a woodcutter, might as well have the one-handed axe, you know? You might as well. Because if you aren't going to do much of anything else, and you're just gonna go in and fight some regular mobs, help your friends, might as well not take that beautiful material away from your main combatant friends and just go along using the axe. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's not terribly effective, but it's viable enough as a semi-combatant so that you can help your friends versus fallings and whatnot in the plains. You can help them gather leeches, help them kill abominations in the swamps. It's doable. Second is the spear, and while the spear is really good early game, and you'll get a lot of support and help there, it really falls off late game compared to bows and adgears, which basically cover everything a spear does optimally in a non-speedrunning sense. The spears, they just kind of exist. There are better DPS options. But this one, spear has range. But it also has high aggro on the range. So, very finicky. Doesn't really help out if you're not trying to aggro a bunch of dudes. You know? So it's very limited in that sense. Those are the honorable mentions. Go back to the old storage cart. So, best options for semi-combatants. Number one would be the Porc Wanderer. Oh yes. The Porcupine main that can go just about anywhere, kick decent amount of ass. Early on, you're just going to make a club, support your friends in the early game. You're going to go out and gather a whole bunch of bones and take on burial chambers and everything early on. You're just going to destroy with the club. This is going to do very, very well. But then after you're done with burial chambers and all of that, you're just going to chill out and do stuff around the base until you are all set and everybody's all ready to go into the plains. At which point you're going to make yourself a nice little porcupine, which is relatively cheap compared to other black metal gear. So, you're going to have decent amount of club levels because you've been destroying all those burial chambers early on and you've just been building and helping out around that base ever since. But now you have the porcupine. And this thing, while it's not particularly mind-blowing versus everything, you know, it's got the same amount of damage but less combo knockback than the black metal sword, which in multiplayer it's like, of course you're gonna want somebody who's a sword main. So this is it's something that, you know, you can just bring just about anywhere because of the damage versatility. Like, okay, you've got some blunt, you've got some pierce, you can go out and kill golems well with them, destroy some frost caves easy on return journeys to the mountains. You can take out a bunch of Draugr or golf some leeches real easy in the swamps. And in the plains, of course, this big boy damage is much appreciated versus falling berserkers. So you got an accurate main friend right there. They get doing some nice spin to wins. You got a staggered berserker that is an easy stagger lock in multiplayer with that wonderful Porcupine, because they're not going to be knocked back. The berserkers are too large, too chunky, and they will just get smacked, bonked to death. No problem. So, what you're going to do is once you hit Plains tier, of course, you have your Porcupine. Probably going to pick up a leftover hand-me-down silver shield for protection, and then you'll be chilling, and you'll bring this everywhere to help out. Everywhere. The only thing that this isn't terribly wonderful at is abominations on your return journeys to the swamps, but pretty much everything else, you hit them with a nice middle mouse after a parry, or just a middle mouse in general, it's going to be devastating, and you get some big combo hits on a big target, it's going to be devastating, so it's going to be pretty nice. Plus, you're going to look gorgeous. Look at that. Beautiful. Now, the more viable of the two best semi-combatants is the Fog Farmer. So let me go grab the stuff for the Fog Farmer. The Fog Farmer is going to be this interesting DPS / stealth hybrid. So the whole idea is you get the most benefits from farming and the most benefits from fog, as the name suggests. What you're going to do is you're going to start off with Flint Knife. You're going to use the knife's DPS and stealth beautiful mechanics, that wonderful 6 times backstab modifier. It's going to come in handy versus a lot of tough enemies like Grey Dwarf Brutes, Grey Dwarf Shamans, and of course Trolls early on. It's going to be a huge opener. It's just going to stagger a lot of things and maybe kill them outright. What's really nice as well is that in melee, knives across the board have no move speed reduction. Look at me, I'm gliding. Yeah, very, very good. Very good for finishing off mobs. Very good for getting out of danger easily if maybe your sneak doesn't work out. You're trying to get a middle mouse and, you know, doesn't quite kill the guy. It's like, okay, well, you have friends available. You can just retreat and then maybe jump and middle mouse again as a finishing move. The DPS is also really nice to help support bosses. So bosses, they don't stagger, so DPS is extremely welcome. Knife's got it. Knife's got that DPS. So you're very helpful there. Getting an early Abyssal Razor is really nice too. So if you get an early Abyssal Razor, you are chilling. You have definitely the best DPS if you're like pre-Elder and you have the Abyssal Razor. And you're absolutely obliterating any trolls, brutes, and definitely the elder himself. You're just destroying easy. Mountains are when things shake up a little bit. So what's gonna happen is that you're going to go get Silver Knife, and then you also get the Flesh Rippers. Ooh, yes, Flesh Rippers. So this is another quick, easy DPS weapon. It's very cheap on material costs, which is very good for you because you're primarily going to be in the base. And, well, this thing also has 0% movement speed reduction. It's got an interesting kick, which isn't terribly good for your purposes because you're going to be DPS mainly, but it's there. It's got decent staggering and knockback, so it's pretty good get off me, and you know, kick him over to your friends, no problem. As you can see from the moveset, it's just a 1-2, but that 2, that left hook, is your combo finisher, so it's got that modified higher damage than normal. But basically, you're gonna get that higher damage super frequently. which is really good versus bosses, but it's also really nice when you have your friend that's maybe staggered an enemy, a large enemy with the Atgear, and you're just going in. Like, you can just go in on abominations on your return journeys, getting iron or padded armor or what have you. Going in, grabbing blood bags, you find an abomination, you absolutely shred the abomination. It's also nice versus falling berserkers, your friend, probably an Atgear main, going to spin to win, and then you can provide excellent DPS damage and maybe even a nice little sneak attack. Now let's talk more about sneaking and what you're going to do while you're in the base, particularly the farmer part of the Fog Farmer. Oh, what are you doing? Speaking of which, Boar! You're going to farm Boar to start off. Once you have full troll armor, you're going to farm preferably 2-star boars. And the whole time you're going to be wearing that troll armor and you're going to be sneaking around as that boar is taming you. You're just going to be sneaking around and it's going to level up your sneak like a lot. You're gonna get really good levels. Just amazing levels with that. You're also going to repeat the process with wolves and locks. And this is going to raise your sneak to damn near 100. Like really, really high. This is going to be really good, of course, come Mistlands when nobody knows what any of the mobs do and everybody's scared shitless and wants to sneak everywhere. But it's also nice if you're just new to the game. If you have a new group, you want to support your friends with sneaking, or maybe you're not terribly confident in combat. Flesh Rippers and Knives, they have that beautiful 6x damage backstab modifier. So you will be clean with those incredibly high levels of sneak. Just pop an enemy, keep on going. Boom. 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 Ridiculously strong. Not as strong as, you know, fully optimized build, but hey, that's gonna cost a lot of materials. You're gonna want to save that for somebody who is a combatant and not somebody who is a semi-combatant who wants to make a beautiful base and take care of the old animals, make everything nice and beautiful. But you still want to get in on the action, whether that be helping your friends here and there, like the Porc Wanderer, or helping out versus bosses, single target enemies, getting that DPS and sneak damage like the Fog Farmer. Yes, there are a bunch of different ways to go about doing your favorite combat scenarios with very little material cost and still be somewhat effective. So, hope you've enjoyed the video. Oh, I jumped over this dude. Come here. You can see I have very little fist levels, of course. 14. However, if I wanted more fist levels, I just set up a portal in a troll cave that's near a Grey Dwarf nest, and I would farm the Grey Dwarf nest. And that would also give me wonderful materials around the base. Woodstone, resin, Grey Dwarf eyes, trophies to hang up. Look nice and beautiful. So, I hope you've enjoyed this little semi-combatant video. I'm not very much a semi-combatant. I will test out these weapons come Mistlands, see if there are any changes to them. But I'm very much a club main. I like playing with all the optimal stuff. But I do recognize that there are people who fit the semi-combatant niche in multiplayer. And they need some appreciation and some analysis too. So, I hope you've enjoyed. And I will see you guys some other time. Bye!